everybody. It's about 11:15 Wednesday morning, March 26th, and we're leaving the South Edisto or South Edisto. I've been corrected on my pronunciation of that before. Anyway, we got in here Monday morning, and looking at the offshore forecast, this morning would have been a little rougher up in the Myrtle Beach area offshore, so I held off a day, worked on a few projects, and forecast is supposed to be calmer out there. No 3-4 foot waves in the forecast anyway. We'll see. Had the anchorage to ourselves. It's a wide open space, but actually it's not bad at all. A few power boats. There's a creek with a marina in it over there beyond the beach. So had a few power boats, and one load came out and was doing circles yesterday. Don't quite know what their deal was. Anyway, we're off on a 130, roughly 134 nautical mile run to Calabash Creek off of Little River Inlet at North Myrtle Beach, and we should get there sometime. I'm going to slow down a little bit once we get out of here, and try and keep it as close to 6 knots as possible. There's a pretty good breeze blowing now. That's supposed to drop off considerably as the day progresses. Once we get outside, though, I think it's going to be on the nose. Don't know whether I'll put any sails up or not. Anyway, I've used this inlet as a hop in, hop out sort of thing a number of times now, and I think the last 3 trips, including this one, I've used this inlet at least once and sometimes twice, heading south and heading north. So it's worked out pretty well. There aren't a whole lot of markers, but the charts appear to be fairly accurate. You can see my old tracks coming in. There are these fingers down here, and I've come in close to dark at low tide and had waves breaking around the boat on some of these shallow spots. So the tide is going out now. Monday when we came in, it was also going out. It was an ebb tide, so thought that coming in. That's not recommended. So it was a little bumpy and slow, but we made it. Anyway, here's we came in this gap Monday morning, and we're going out this gap here. Like I said, it's a convenient place to duck in and get some sleep, and then go back out and do it again. But I didn't get any of it on the last video that I uploaded yesterday, but it got a bit windy and a bit bumpy Monday morning. From about maybe 5 a.m. on, it got a bit rough, and I had already furled the jib. That's not a big deal. I had it partially furled most of the night, and but was waiting until just before daylight to try and get the main down, and the wind had shifted around from behind us, and so it well, it was flapping the main pretty bad. So when I finally got it, had enough light to try and get it down, it was bumpy, and of course it didn't want to cooperate, and so I keep promising myself that if I ever get another sailboat, it will have in-mast furling and be done with the battle of trying to get that monster mainsail down. But anyway, got it done. Right. I think there's one more green buoy out here in this inlet, and that's pretty much it. Got a few people on the beach here. I've never walked around the town or anything there. The first time we were here, we dinghied to the marina, and there was a restaurant on the upper level of the marina building, and had lunch or dinner or something there, and that was pretty good. But that's about all I've seen. But I always thought that this seemed like a nice spot. So I have to check it out a little more closely next time I'm here, whether by boat or car or what. Anyway, I'll probably do like I've done before and string a few of these clips together and upload it as one video. So I'll take another few minutes later on. But that's all for now. The sun's getting ready to go down. Thought I'd do a quick update of our status. We've come a little over 51 nautical miles. We have 81.9 nautical miles to go. So we're not quite halfway yet. We've been underway for about 8 3/4 hours, a little less than 9 hours, and crossed over the Charleston Channel not too long ago, and 5 something, so I guess it was a while ago. But a couple of these cargo ships were coming out. That one is a bright pink container ship, and so he came out the channel just before I got there, and then this guy, I don't know why he has stopped here, but APL Sentosa, but he was coming out after, well, I really saw him once I was within about a mile of the channel, and he's a big brigand, and he was pouring on the cold, but I got across in front of him. I probably should have taken the safe route and just pulled up and let him get by before crossing the channel. Anyway, I missed him by about a half a mile. But when they're that big, it looks like they're right on top of you. Had the jib out most of the day, and there's been a decent breeze. I should have put the main up, but after having to fight with it Monday morning, I'm trying to get it down. I just didn't feel like dealing with it. Anyway, and I just fired the radar up. Few more minutes, I'll turn the running lights on, and there's one other sailboat, I believe. He's probably 10 miles ahead of us, heading in the same direction. He's probably got the same idea we have. Coming in at Little River Inlet. But other than that, we don't have any more major shipping channels to cross over. So that was, Savannah and Charleston are the two big ones down in this section of the coast. Well, I guess Brunswick gets a certain amount of ship traffic as well. Coast Guard sector, Charleston needs some new radio equipment. They're the closest one to us, and it always sounds like that when they come on with their announcements and stuff. The part of the video that I took this morning on our way out from South Edisto or Edisto, whichever it is. Remember how mild and relatively calm it was? Boy, once we got further out the inlet, it really picked up. Yeah, it was supposed to have been 1 to 2 foot waves. It was more like 5 foot, and the wind was supposed to be in the 10 to 15 knot range, and that was more like 25, 28 knots. And the period between the waves was so short that we couldn't get any speed up. We were doing like 4.5 knots because we were going from one wave to the next to the next to the next, and having to break through them. So it was probably 2 or 3 hours before that calmed down a bit. So we're making up for lost time. now. I don't know whether, I've noticed that the forecasts have not been as accurate on the way up as they were on the way down on this trip. I don't know whether it's already, we're feeling the results of all the NOAA personnel being fired or what. Chris Parker, the weather router that a lot of folks going to the Bahamas use, he said he thinks it'll be a while before the effects are felt, but I don't know. Windy and predict wind both were off the money on the forecast this morning. And I spent an extra day at anchor at South Edisto and didn't move yesterday because I was waiting for a better forecast, particularly up on the northern end of this trip. Last night or this morning it was calling for 3 to 4 foot waves up around the North Myrtle Beach section, and tonight and tomorrow morning it's only supposed to be 1 to 2 feet, so we'll see. But it is what it is. Gone too far to turn back now. I guess if it does get bad, we can pull in at what's the sound up here? I've done it before. Winya Bay. And actually it's a long entrance, but there are places on the side of the channel that you can anchor if you're just coming in to get out of rough conditions offshore. But that's up a ways up here. All in all, it's been a decent day so far. Hopefully the sea state doesn't get any rougher than what we have. Gonna have a beautiful sunset. That's it for now. I'll probably do another short section maybe tonight or in the morning, and then tie it all together. See you next time. Good morning, everybody. Just wanted to it's about 7 a.m. and we have 14.3 nautical miles to go to the inlet, Little River Inlet, and then about another 3 miles to Calabash Creek, Anchorage. Anyway, I thought I'd show y'all what 1 to 2 foot waves and 10 to 15 knot winds look like. Right now it's blowing 32 knots and we're creeping along, because if we go any faster we crash down in between some of these breakers, and it sounds like break Magnolia's back. And this mess began, it wasn't quite this bad, about 1 a.m. and I still had the jib out then, and wind picked up to about 30, so I rolled it in. It was blowing so hard when I furled it that I had to use the spinnaker winch on the furling line, and then I ran it over to the electric halyard winch. So of course it was in the dark, so I hope I didn't twist the aluminum extrusion that the jib luff goes into. I'll have to check that out. I've seen that happen before. So anyway, this is, I'd mentioned earlier that I think at least marine weather forecasting has already gone to hell in a handbasket. I actually stayed an extra day at south at Edisto or Edisto because the forecast for yesterday morning up at the Myrtle Beach, North Myrtle Beach area, which is where we are, was calling for 3 to 4 foot waves and winds in the low 20s, and so didn't want to deal with that coming off the end of a 23-hour passage. So I stayed an extra day, and the forecast for this morning was 10 to 15 knot winds, 1 to 2 foot waves with a 6.5 second period between the waves. Well, we don't have any of that. So instead of getting to the inlet at about 8:30 as planned, at this speed it's going to be somewhere between 11 and 12. I don't know what other alternative we have, though. Just make the best of it. Well, I better pay attention. Hang on for dear life. All right, hope everyone's doing well, and this will probably be the last offshore overnight passage that we do. We've finally learned our lesson. All right, all for now.